Hello and welcome to Café New Canadians. Today's topic is career in tech, immigrants' experiences and top tips. Café New Canadians is brought to you by New Horizon Media, and you can watch episodes of Café New Canadians on TV. You can also catch past episodes on YouTube. So if you could take a minute to write in the chat where you're joining us from, that would be so great. This particular episode of Café New Canadian is brought to you in collaboration with Skill Without Borders and the Immigrant Business Network. My name is Bookie, Adekanye, and I'll be moderating this session. And we have joining us in this session, we have 3 tech professionals. We have Nouhaila Chelkhaoui, who is founder and CEO of Skill Without Borders. Welcome, Nouhaila. We also have joining us Jesus Romero, who is a project manager. And last but not least, we have Sanvi Srivastava, who is a software development lead. And they will be sharing with us their experience as well as useful tips for anyone who wishes to situate themselves in the Canadian tech space, whether you're looking at a 9-to-5 or you're looking to join the gig economy or you even want to start a tech company. I see that in the audience, we have people joining us. We have someone joining us from Brazil, and just to give you a feel of who we have who would be having in the audience today, we would have newcomers and pre-arrival immigrants. We would have international students from across and outside of Canada. And also, before we get started, I just want to remind you also to take a moment to put your questions in the Q&A tab if you're joining on Zoom. And if you're joining us live on YouTube, please use the chat box to type your questions, and we will have our panelists answer them as we go along. Welcome once again, and thank you for joining us at this episode. So right now, we will get right into it. We will start with our panelists introducing themselves. I think I will start with Jesus because I see him right on my screen. And so Jesus, do you mind telling us about yourself, your immigration story, and how you chose a career in tech?
Okay. Hello, my name is Jesus Romero. I'm from Barranquilla, Colombia, the city of Shakira and Sofia Vergara, with the famous carnival and with a summer all year. I arrived in Toronto in July 17, 2021. Immediately, I'm looking for a new opportunity as a project manager. I'm a member for a PMI Toronto. Currently, I'm working for a company from February 2022. I moved with my wife. She's an international student. I'm a project manager now.
Thank you, Jesus. I think I will move to Sanvi. Sanvi, do you mind telling us about yourself, your immigration story, and why you choose a career in tech?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Sanvi Srivastava. I'm from India, and I landed in Canada in September 2020. So fairly new to Canada as well as Jesus. And so I was always in tech industry back in India as well. And I landed here, applied for jobs and got into tech again. And the best part of landing here in Canada was getting a job within 10 days. So it was good. Maybe I got lucky or maybe I prepared well. So we'll get to know. And so, yeah, the journey has been great. And tech industry in Canada is amazing. And there are a lot of opportunities available here. So yeah, we should look out for tech industry in Canada.
Okay. Thank you, Sanvi. And your story is quite inspiring to see how, you were able to get a job in such a short time. And that tells us it is possible. And we look forward to hearing more from you about how people who are looking to get into tech jobs can also position themselves. Thank you. So last but not least, Noellas, do you mind introducing yourself to us?
For sure. Hello, everyone. Nouhaila here from Scale Without Borders, which is a platform and a network to help immigrants in tech access resources they need to succeed for free, including your next tech job. I came to Canada when I was, in 2010, so 2010. So that's about 10 years before both Jesus and Sanvi. So this is like a flash forward 10 years, what happens? I came for university as an international student, studied something that has nothing to do with tech, that is political science. And after a few wrong turns, I finally made my way into tech. And I never looked back ever since. I worked for a Canadian tech startup, and then I worked for a Canadian tech incubator, and then I founded my own startup in tech more recently, so a couple years ago, and I'm excited to be here.
Thank you, Noellas. It's so interesting that you said you started out not, in a totally different career path, and you ended up in tech. Tech used to be one space where people, there's just really a lot of myths about getting into the tech space because it seems just too difficult. It looks like you need to have some extra skills that you just really can't easily tap into. But listening to your story about how you were able to make that switch makes it just really inspiring and to let us know that it is possible. So our next questions, I would like you to each tell us what your job search was like, starting from Sanvi, who was able to get a job just within 10 days. And I know that for some of the people, it takes a whole lot longer. They have to prepare, they have to take some exams and certifications to be able to get in the tech space. So maybe I will start from Sanvi because our story sounds really very unique. Sanvi, if you could tell us what was your job search experience like when or even prior to coming to Canada?
Sure. So basically, I have been part of tech industry since long. So I have around 11 years of experience into tech industry, out of which 2 years are now in Canada. So I had a lot of experience, and there's a myth here in Canada, which I would like to burst here out there, that we don't need Canadian experience for any tech job in Canada. So that's a myth which is spread widespread. Everybody thinks that if you don't have Canadian experience, you will be in a lot of fuss here. No, that's totally wrong. So your experience into tech counts. Every year of your tech experience counts here, and everything is counted here. Nobody ignores that. So that is number one. Number two is that, when you're about to land here in Canada, you know your dates, you know how you plan your journey. So it's always better to start preparing a week or two before you're about to land here. So LinkedIn is the best place as far as I am concerned. So I know LinkedIn is the best space where you can make connections, you can apply jobs. So that is what I did. So my journey was that 2 weeks before I had to land here, I started applying jobs, I started making connections. And when I landed here, my first interview was just in next 5 hours of landing here in Canada. So that is how things were working for me. So you always have to plan. Still, when you're in your home country, you start planning for how you're going to work here in Canada. It's not that you land here, settle down, and then you start focusing. It'll take time then. So you have to, start preparing once you prepare to land here in Canada. That is second. Third is, when you look for a job, then don't look into the requirements as 100%, right? Even if 70% of the criteria matches your capabilities, just apply it. See, nobody is looking for 100% perfect person out there, right? You should know things. You should be, you should show that you can learn things. That is more important than, knowing things beforehand. So you should be like 70%. If you match the criteria, go for it. people will consider you. So these are the things which I followed in my journey here, and that is what I think, that is what got me this opportunity really quickly.
Thank you so much, Sanvi. I like the fact that what you just said points to the fact that you don't necessarily have to have the Canadian experience, the golden Canadian experience, and just really getting into tech space or just having the skills and the experience working in tech space actually takes that out and positions you in such a way that you're able to easily get a job. I also like the fact that you spoke about having the soft skills, your ability and willingness to learn, and how that will help you to get a job faster. And you really do not have to have all the technical skills in the job postings. And I think we'll get to the soft skills in a bit. It's one of the questions I was going to ask, but right now I will move over to Jesus. Can you share with us what your own job search journey was like?
Yeah, well, when I arrived here, I was working for my country remotely. I don't know, maybe this part could have a good and not good parts because my mind is still in my country. But this time let me give me time to create connection here. I prepare my curriculum. During these maybe 6 first months, I participate in a lot of in interviews and improve my English skills. I study with Scale Without Borders and Elevate Talent in the product management program, and for me it was one of the best part because this I think this opportunity showed me the people here give help others without without knowing you. There is not maybe a close connections or familiarity, but they help me, and I think as a newcomer, my first the first thing that I did was try to create a lot of connections with different type of networkings, like Sky Without Borders, like Elevate Talent, and with my chapter for project management here. And I think every story is unique. If you are here, is with a purpose. And I think the job is a medium to get an end, to get a goal, which is your main goal, And I think I love technology, I love innovation because I'm an electronic engineer. I study data science, product management, and a lot of things related to that. I think the main thing about technology, the tech industry, is about the problem behind. What is the problem that you want to solve here? And with this in mind, for me, it's a limiting belief when you arrive here and you want to take whatever appear. I think you have the opportunity to choose. Every of us have the opportunity to choose. What did you choose? What is the job that you deserve according to your experience in your country? When I arrived here, I was I was a project manager in my country for a huge national project, and I think when I arrived, okay, I want to get the job, I want to do that, and I prepare myself for that. I'm not perfect. This is the other limiting belief because my English is not perfect, when I think about my weaknesses, my actions reflect that. But when I believe or when I think about my strength, my actions reflect that. And according to that, I get that job because my English was not perfect in the interviews, but my security, my knowledge, my experience is a value here. And as Sanvi said that before, the Canadian experience is a myth. It's your limiting belief that really imports. The matter is, what is your opinion about yourself? And the tech industry is huge. It's really huge. And you can work into a bank, a financial, like a tech or a startup or whatever. It's like try to focus in one target and do it.
Wow, thank you so much, Jesus. That was, I like the fact that you spoke, you talked about being deliberate about what you want, looking beyond the job and not settling for just anything. So having an end point in mind and realizing that the job is just a means to that end. So thank you so much for that. And something else you said that interested me, which I think I've also witnessed, especially amongst immigrants, get into the tech space. They actually create such a great support system for each other. And I see that happening, all three of you are doing that, supporting newcomers and immigrants trying to get into the tech space. And you did mention that you got some assistance from Skill Without Border. And so I think my next question will go to Nouhaila, who is the founder of Skill Without Borders. So Nouhaila, can you just tell us what motivated you to start this platform? Why, what were you trying to achieve by starting Skill Without Borders?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm so excited and happy that, Skill Without Borders was able to help people like Jesus. It's music to my ears. What motivated me is my personal experience. As I mentioned, I am an immigrant and I am from Morocco. I came on my own when I was 17 years old. And it took me a while to get a job that I was really excited about. And it was all thanks to the network that I built. I had to I started off by volunteering. So that means working for free. And then getting a job that wasn't exactly what I wanted, and then working my way up through networking, through understanding how the tech ecosystem works. And being a newcomer with no network was really was a disadvantage for me. So I saw a lot of initiatives as I was in tech for underrepresented people in tech, including there was initiatives for women in tech. There were more recently, though, initiatives for Black folks in tech. But there wasn't much at the time for immigrants in tech. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to launch this. I launched it really just as an event series. But little did I know that not only it sold out and hundreds of people showed up, including the mayor and minister of immigration, but the hashtag Skill Without Borders was trending in the city of Toronto on Twitter. So that really speaks to, and this was our very first launch event, and that spoke to how much this is needed. Canada is an immigrant-based country, and if we're not supporting immigrants, what are we doing? And tech is the future. So the intersection at where the two kind of intersect is. I think it's really niche, and I'm very excited about what we're doing.
Wow, thank you. And congrats on the success of the launch, of your launch. For sure, I know that what you're doing is very impactful and really you're doing so much in that space. And so well done for all that you do. So I just also wanted to ask, can you shed some light on what the in-demand tech jobs are at the moment in Canada for people who might be interested in entering that space?
For sure. So there are many, many different kinds of in-demand tech jobs, but we don't have that much time. What I'll do is I'll just give a quick summary. So there are there are jobs that are very technical, that are in demand. That's like your software developers, your machine learning, your cybersecurity professionals, and then also there's the data scientists and product management. These are all things we have courses for that are for free. But it's also important to know that there are tech jobs that don't require you to code. Like we have project manager to the point of Jesus, or even product management, but there's also tech sales, right? There's customer success within the context of tech, like within a tech startup or within a larger tech corporation, right? So there's digital marketing. These are also in-demand tech jobs. So there's really a wide range, and there's a lot for you in this space.
Oh, wow, sure. Thank you. One other question: are there fundings and resources that newcomers, immigrants, intending immigrants can leverage to be able to get into the tech space?
You say funding and resources?
Funding, resources, training for immigrants. I know that you have, that program run. You have your own platform running, but are there specific fundings, for example, or programs by the government or otherwise that newcomers and immigrants can take advantage of?
For sure. There are many, and I'll let also Jesus and Sanvi also share, because I'm sure they leveraged many, but there are many resources available. If you want to know, them, we do share them. You can sign up to our newsletter. But there's specifically, more recently, a program called Adapt. They're actually one of our community partners. And essentially, they are offering a wage subsidy to employers who hire newcomers. So that really does encourage many employers to hire newcomers. So that's the funding directly. But otherwise, there are courses and training courses like the ones that we have with Elevate. And there's a ton of mentorship programs as well that are available for newcomers. So there's more resources than funding. But very helpful resources. But I'll hand it over to Sanvi and Jesus if they have anything else to add.
Yeah, sure. Sanvi, would you like to share with us what resources you?
Before I landed here, I also enrolled in one of the programs, which was through Canadian government. I really don't remember the name, but I'll find it out. But it was Canadian government funded program where they would help you with your resume, and they'll help you with some virtual job fairs which are happening in and around Canada, wherever you're landing. So that was helpful, yes. And I personally stick to LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is the best place to know what's happening in Canada. So you can get details about any virtual job fairs which are happening. You can get details about any programs which are running. There are several people who like Scale Without Borders. There are several other organizations who are helping immigrants, right? So you can get details of those people. Also, you can connect with them. So there are several programs for international students as well, which I've seen on LinkedIn. So, I mean, that is what I have seen in my experience.
Okay, thank you. Jesus, do you have some resources or program that you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, I think there are a lot of programs here for free. For example, for Hispanos, there is a community, Hispanotech. I took with them a mentorship program. For project manager, PMI Toronto or PMI, depending according to your city, PMI Toronto or Ottawa, I don't know, the chapters in Canada, and into the PMI there are other communities. I recommended YMC. I saw in the chat too. Immigrant Network is other community, interesting community. Immigrant Network. For me, one of the most important, for example, for free learning and connection, as Sanvi said, is LinkedIn. But if you have the public card, the library card, you can access for free to a lot of courses online and resources online in tech too. And I think, Elevate Talent, Scale Without Borders, I can't remember well. But I think if you put it honestly in Google, immigration network tech, there are a lot of resources for free. And as Sanvi say, LinkedIn is a great platform to connect with others directly. And for example, there are influencers or people who help to build the to help others like David or hey Jinka or something podcast too. And I think there are different resources for free. I share a few that I remember now.
Yeah, thank you. So that's a whole lot you shared already. Thanks for sharing that. So to the audience, I just wanted to do a quick reminder that if you have questions for our panelists, please use the Q&A tab if you're on Zoom, and if you're joining us on YouTube, please use the chat box. To the next question, talking about diversity and inclusion in the tech space, it's so good to see women playing in that space that is ordinarily considered to be male-dominated. So I wanted to ask Nouhaila, what's your experience like being in that space, and what's the experience? What do you think is the experience, for women getting into that space? Are there more women coming in? Are there incentives for more women to be able to play in the tech space?
That is a very complex question, which requires a complex answer. But are there, let me answer the incentives part of it. Are there incentives for women to be part of tech? Well, I think tech is it's a very flexible job. Right now, I'm actually tuning in from Morocco because I'm visiting my family. And so it's around midnight right now, and I get to work around this time if I wanted to, but I also got to take some time off in the afternoon because of the flexibility of it. Tech is a very wide sector. It has its own issues, its own kind of advantages as well. I think that there's a lot of awareness about inequalities in tech, particularly with regards to wages, with regards to makeup of leadership, makeup of boards. There's also a lot of inequality when it comes to founders in tech, so inequalities. So funding, women receive a lot less venture capital funding than their male counterparts. So all of these are things that need to be challenged. But overall, there's some progress that is being made. Still a lot of challenges, but some progress being made, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. So a question to you, Sanvi, just because you touched on this briefly earlier, talking about soft skills. You didn't say soft skill in that sense, but are there soft skills that are specific to tech, different from what a generic employer would be looking for? Are there skills that are more aligned with if you want to be in the tech space? And are those in any way different from what a general employer would be looking for?
Sure. So maybe to answer that, I'll divide it into two parts, probably. So see, in tech, like Nouhaila explained earlier, so we can have like coding jobs and we can have non-coding section, which is project management, right? So soft skills in coding would, it's just that you can make other people understand what you're trying to say. So basically you need to be articulate enough to explain what you're trying to code. So in coding, you have to talk about logics everywhere. So what logic you need to present, how do you present the business case through code? So that is how the soft skills needed there would be basically good writing, the emails, and you should be able to explain what you really want to say in terms of, what you want to code. Now, coming to project management, I think Jesus would be able to answer this better. But what I feel is project management is more communicative job than a coder. A coder would be coding behind the scenes, not interacting much. But a project manager would be interacting, on a daily basis with business, with lots of people around. So they might need a lot more soft skills than a coder would need. But that is what I think. But overall, basically you should have good, at least you should be able to explain what you're trying to say. That is one. So good articulation, and your emails should be really good. So your email should be precise enough to explain what it is meant for. This is what I think, in my opinion, this would be what kind of soft skills we would need there.
Okay, thank you. And maybe I'll just move on to Jesus. For your role as a project manager specifically, what are the soft skills that have helped you to thrive? I can see how your enthusiastic personality, how that can help on the job. But do you want to share with us what other soft skills have been able to help you succeed on your job?
Yeah, I think well, at first I like to share more like a soft skills is like a core skills, because I think these core skills for me is more important than, sometimes more important than technical, because if you can learn, but maybe sometimes there are components into a core skills that is not really easy to learn. It's more like you need to change some behaviors inside you. But I think, for example, empathy is a key core skill, because through empathy we have the capacity to understand our customer and understand their problems, not through our view, it's through the view of them. And I think this is a key core skill, and this core skill, depending others, like a communication skills, I love the systemic thinking. It's like saw the whole picture and try to connect the points, discuss with other, like okay, it's my thinking view, it's my systemic view. What do you thinking about my systemic view? And share this systemic thinking. For me, it's important. That the critical thinking too. The other core skills is the capacity to break down the problems, try to decompose the problems into a small part, because our brain sometimes is for our brain is hard to analyze the whole picture. And if you can decompose these parts into a small part, it's easy. As Sanvi say, communicate yourself. And I think all of these core skills, the fundamental is believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, the others appears spontaneously. It's not like like a math dot two more two. No. You believe in yourself at first, and the others could develop it. But at first is my principal core.
Thank you, Jesus. So I hear you say confidence. I hear you say the ability to be analytical and to be able to, if I can put that in my words, interpret your client's dream. Just be that dream interpreter, getting to understand what their pain points are and being able to create solutions for them. And that's so fantastic. Thank you. So I have a question, and I think I'll direct this to Nouhaila. Nouhaila, can you tell us how you think the pandemic has impacted the sector, as it's expanded the opportunities, or as it slows down things in the tech space?
Definitely. So I think it's pretty clear that it has expanded opportunities. Why? Because for many reasons. First of all, it's accelerated the digitization of the economy. So lots of people are now understanding that, they do need technology. They're forced to do things online. So businesses are digitizing, which means that more tech talent is needed. It's almost like, think about where we were supposed to be in 10 years. We've kind of brought it right to now, to last year and this year, because of the pandemic. Now it's important to know that we were headed this direction anyway. Technology was going to get there anyway, but it's been accelerated. So overall, it's come in favor of the tech space. There's a lot of demand for talent, which for you as newcomers is a big it's an advantage. When you apply to jobs and when you're speaking to hiring managers, have it in your mind that this hiring manager is very desperate for you. So make that work for you in terms of your confidence. I will say I have a bit of an asterisk here. Lately, there's been a bit of a downturn in tech, just to be completely upfront. Not much to do with the pandemic, I don't believe so, but just more so of, especially in the tech startup world, more so to do with, other things in terms of the economy, where startups are getting less funding from venture capitalists, but investors are being a little more wary these days. So startup founders are slightly slower to hire these days, but this is something that's gonna, this too shall pass as well. But overall, a very, very good outcome for the tech. As bad as that sounds, the pandemic has been horrible. It's just that it's accelerated tech a lot.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And talking about talent gap, talents, can you shed some light on what specific areas, if there are specific areas with talent gaps where newcomers can position and take advantage of?
And is that question directed to me?
Yes.
For sure. Yeah, so ways that a newcomer can basically take advantage of the talent gap. And did I hear that correctly?
Yes, just to know in what fields or areas of tech there are talent gaps that newcomers can take advantage of.
I think across the board, hiring managers are finding it challenging to fill in their tech roles, right? In general, there is a tech talent shortage. I think it's better if you pick what is it you're passionate about first, and then kind of like make your way throughout that, rather than go and get a computer science degree or learn how to code and then find out that just because it's very much in demand, becoming a developer, training for that, and then finding that you'll get hired, but you're not passionate about that. So I encourage you to actually look at what you're passionate about. And in these roles that I explained earlier on, and I know for a fact that you will probably get hired sooner than later. In terms of, if you really want, a bit of a push, I would say I'm getting a lot of demand for data science, anything DevOps development, web development. There's a lot of demand there. Product as well. Sales is always tech sales. If you're into the core skills, as you mentioned, tech sales is a great career for you. I just encourage you to see if that's you're passionate about first, rather than going out and doing it just because employers need it.
Thank you, Nouhaila. And still riding on the back of that question, and Nouhaila, what do you think the trend is going to be like in the foreseeable future? In what areas are we likely to see job booms and dips and we don't know, things you really can't tell what's going to happen in the next couple of months, right? But just in the nearest foreseeable future, where do you think the jobs are going to be?
Yeah, well, I am no Warren Buffett, who's very good at predicting where the economy is going as well as investments, but I would say just this trend, but it'll continue. So we will continue to see tech jobs becoming the norm. I don't think technology is going anywhere. Companies are going to continue to digitize, and so there's going to be more need for tech talent. I think there will be deeper, more technical tech talent. I read the other day there was a company that was using quantum computing, basically with a quantum computing company that was exploding with growth. So we will have more fancier technical jobs, but at the same time, we'll also have other tech jobs available. So just this trend, it's going to grow bigger. There will also always be a focus on diversity in tech. So if you're a newcomer, if you're a person of color, if you're a woman, you're in luck these days. So take advantage of that, because we do need diversity in tech. Employers are really seeing data-based evidence that diverse teams outperform their homogenous counterparts. And so they are looking for diverse tech talent.
Wow, thank you. And that's
I'd like to add one more point to what Nouhaila said, if I can.
yes.
So, because of the pandemic, the things is that the moving is so fast now between companies. People are moving around, because of the pandemic, because of the work from home structure. Companies are looking out for people, and we are short on people. So this trend is going nowhere soon. So we are at a shortage of tech talent in Canada, because I can say that from my personal experience, because we've been interviewing people. We don't get a lot of people to interview because we are short on technical people. So this isn't going anywhere. I think tech talent in Canada will be welcomed for a long period of time from now.
Oh, okay. So I have this question about since there's a shortage in Canada for tech talent, what are the prospects for intending immigrants who will probably have their PR, but maybe will not be landing the next couple of weeks or months to land a job and be able to work remotely internationally? In your case, you waited until 2 weeks to start to look for a job. But if, for example, a person is not going to land until maybe 2 months, is there a chance that they could actually start working from their home country while they prepare to move to Canada?
From my experience, I've seen there are few companies who do prefer this kind of work structure, and mostly startups. I think startup ecosystem, fits in with the culture of work from home, sitting in another country and working. But like banking here in Canada, they do not allow such kind of structure. So they need you to be here in Canada. So from what I have seen, it's like around 75% of companies in Canada look for you to be here in Canada before you apply to the job or before you start working. And like 25%, which is mostly the startups, which would, allow that kind of structure where you can work from your home country and then land in Canada and continue working on that. So yeah, this is what I've seen. They generally don't prefer this kind of structure. Yeah, because I think more of it is because of the different countries have different norms of working. They have different rules regarding how can you work, and then there comes these tax structures. There are certain things which are attached to working from a specific country. That's why I think companies generally don't prefer that kind of thing here.
Okay, thank you. And Sanvi, I have one more question for you. So in terms of the Canadian workplace, which a lot of times is vastly different from, other countries and cultures, just because it's not, even if you've had several years of experience from your own country, the Canadian workspace has a totally different culture. How would you advise that newcomers to Canada position themselves, or what are the skills they need to survive in the Canadian workspace to be able to integrate in the shortest time possible?
So first, I'd say be confident. So don't get intimidated. There are a lot of instances where you'll get intimidated because there are several new people. And Canada is a land of immigrants. So it's not just Canadians. There are several people from several different countries where you're integrating together and working together. So it is kind of intimidating at times, but just be confident. So you'll gel up. And as Jesus mentioned earlier, that people are really welcoming here. So they won't let you suffer alone. They'll help you out. They'll just hold your hand and then you'll move along. So I know it's scary when you come here for the first time, but you'll naturally get along with Canadians. This I can vouch for that. You can naturally get along because I was really scared. But then once you're able to be confident in what you're speaking, what you're talking about, how you're presenting yourself, that's it. That's what they need. They'll just hold your hand and you'll move forward.
Okay, thank you, Sanvi. So I have a question in the chat, and it says, do you think that the problem is shortage of candidates is partially caused because of the increased preference in remote work? I'm not sure which of the panelists will want to answer that question. anyone can.
I think.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
It's just, please go ahead.
Okay, I think, like I said before, it depending of what type of work do you prefer. It's necessary to make a research before and prepare based on that. As Sanvi say, here the companies prefer the people live here. If, for example, you can apply for a skilled worker, the other option is a skilled worker from your country, but maybe it will the duration is high compared with the study or international way, international student way, and I think is depending of the type of the work of the industry, because I don't know which industry increase the preference in remote work. For example, if you work like a customer service, maybe you need to get a job, or if you want to get a job in Tesla, Elon Musk say you can work from your home after 40 hours weekly. It's depending on the industry.
I can also chime in on this one. I don't think so. I don't think that the problem is because people want to, have a preference of remote work, because the tech talent shortage started off before people started coming back to the office. I think it's really, again, because of the tech rapid technology, rapid digitization is what caused the tech talent shortage, as well as business growth, as well as people being able to work from around the world. So, your Canadian kind of developer would rather work for in the United States company that is going to pay them 2 times more than work for a Canadian company. That has happened in the past. It's less so right now. So I don't think that's the cause, but it definitely is not. It's definitely contributing, because many people are resigning now because they have to go back to the office and they would rather work for a remote company.
And I'd say just one more point, that current shortage is more because the visa processing was slow. So there's a backlog, as we all know. So there are a lot of tech talent. There's a lot of tech talent which hasn't been able to land here. So as we see now, since the visa norms are good now and people are able to land here in Canada, we are seeing increase in those kind of candidates where tech talent is moving towards Canada now. I think that is one of the reasons, maybe.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very great point of view. So one quick question to you, Nouhaila. Talking about the gig economy, what kind of opportunities do you think are available for people who do not necessarily want to go into 9 to 5 and they're not also ready to go full time into starting a tech company? What kind of opportunity do you think they can tap into?
Right now, what the trend that I'm seeing, the great resignation, is that people are resigning to work for have a better kind of working arrangement, whether it means higher compensation, remote work, flexible work, or just better roles and responsibilities. Some people are quitting their jobs to start a new company. I quit my job in the middle of the pandemic to go full-time on my startup. In terms of freelance, there are, I'm not very, very well informed into the freelance economy or the gig economy, but I do know that there was a big resignation in search for better jobs, because workers now are really seeing their worth and they're acting on it and they're walking away.
Oh, okay, thank you. One other question as we start to wrap up. So what's it like working in the tech space? How possible is it to achieve work-life balance? Because again, like you said, people are looking more or moving more towards being able to work at their own time and have more time for family, uh, for fun and things along that line. So how easy is it to achieve that work-life balance, considering that the tech space is actually quite demanding? Anybody can go. Anybody who would like to go on that?
Maybe I can start. So, as a coder, I would answer that completely as a coder. So, as a coder, there are times where you have to really, so there's a 7.5 hours work, per day work here in Canada, but it easily crosses that, because as a coder, there are times where you have to really work for 12, 13 hours, but there are downtimes as well where you can enjoy that. And work from home, our laptops are just 2 steps away from us, so the work is always in our mind. It's always going on that, okay, I can just go and work for 5 more minutes, I can just go and work for 1 more hour. So that is there, but the best part is that you can divide that time between your family and your work. You don't have to travel for 2 hours to go to work, so that is 4 hours wasted when you travel. That 4 hours you can give back to your family. Now families are happy, so that we can stay with them, we can go out, and the companies provide us the flexibility in terms of somebody wants to take their kids out for something activities. So companies are not adamant that you have to work at this time. They give you that flexibility. You can move out during the office hours as well, just work, go play with your kid, come back, work. So that kind of flexibility with work from home is really good, with which I think, and it's on you how you divide your work between work and family, or work and personal life. Work life balance is really important. So it's on a personal individual that you need to set it right. You need to divide your time. Otherwise, laptop is just there, you can work for 24 hours, or you can just go out for 24 hours and not work at all. So it depends on you.
Yeah, I have for example, one recommendation, well, it's work for me, is create my own space into my home for work. And when, for example, at weekend, this space is close or disappear. It's like a discipline. Okay, Friday, summer hour or something, close your laptop, put your cell phone in silence, and because I believe here in Ontario there exists a law, the person can't call you after working hours, and I think, but as Sanvi say, is depending on you, and the other thing is try to establish other kind of activities with your family, or hobbies, like a gym, exercise, I don't know, whatever. But if you don't have anything to do after work, you are tempted to go to work again because you don't have any activities. And if this is not responsible for the work, this is your responsibility. Divide your life and create this balance.
Thank you, Sus. That's such a great point. So we have one question in the chat, and this is going to be the last one. Juliana says, what kind of technical interviews or platforms are the most used nowadays for a software engineer position? I'm not sure who would want to take that. Maybe Jesus, because you have a...
Oh, well, or Sanvi. If you have the answer, go. I have, but so go ahead.
I mean, we both can answer. So software engineer is something which I relate to. So see, the technical interviews, mostly here Canadian companies have one round of coding interview, where platforms like HackerRank is the most used platform by companies. So you, for a software engineer, you can definitely go and log into HackerRank and try to solve some problems on your own, so that you get you get used to how coding practices are solved. And apart from that, there are several websites. Maybe I can name it to you in the chat. So there are several websites where you can, go and search for the particular technology you're going to interview for, and you can prepare exactly for that technology. Like suppose you're going to interview for a Java developer, so you can, go to Google, mainly Google, and just search for top 100 questions what a Java developer of that particular years of experience would be questioned in an interview in Canada. So that is one. Second, practice more and more on HackerRank. That is second. There's a platform called VanHack where you get a lot to practice for your soft skills plus the technical skills. So that is a great platform for software engineers. And what else? LinkedIn is my favorite. So you can give your LinkedIn assessments. Those are also good. Don't Google answers. Give your LinkedIn assessment, so you'll get a hold of how questions are there out in market for that particular technology.
Thank you so much, Sanvi. That was really, really good insight. And because of our time, we're going to have to wrap up now. And just before we go, I would open the floor to our panelists to share with our audience in 30 seconds, what would you like to leave with the audience? What's your parting words for the audience in just 30 seconds, if you can manage that? And I will start with Jesus. Oh, Jesus, you're on mute. Would you like to share your parting words?
Okay. Yeah, the question is about what, in 30 seconds, which is your my recommendation.
Your parting words. What tip do you want to leave with the audience in just 30 seconds?
Believe in you. Be an immigrant is not a weakness, it's a strength. Be an Hispano immigrant is a strength too. Speak more than one language is a strength. The tech is a medium to get a goal. Focus on your purpose and use the technology to achieve this goal. Focus before move here. Focus on what is your ideal job, your ideal industry, and connect with them. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jesus. I'll move on to Nouhaila right now. If you could share with us. Yeah.
I love Jesus's advice. Be an immigrant. I love it. I kind of want to change the tagline of Scale Without Borders to be an immigrant. It's such an embodiment of who we are. I would also add, really look at your job search as a growth journey. I know it's hard because, you got to pay your bills and you got to get your work permit and fulfill your permanent residency or whatnot. But if you can think of it as a journey where you're growing and you're fulfilling your life's passions rather than finding a job, I think that is where kind of the miracles happen and the unexpected happens.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. And Sanvi, your parting words?
So I'll go practical. So attend lots of virtual job fairs. You'll get to know a lot of people in tech industry here. Go for volunteering jobs. You'll get to know a lot of people. You'll get to network a lot. Don't lose hope. Canada is here to help you, and give as many interviews as you can. Don't worry about failures. Don't worry about rejections. You just need one interview to clear. Rest all are experience and learning. So just go for as many interviews as you want to go. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanvi. And thank you all, our wonderful panelists, for sharing with us from your wealth of knowledge. I'm sure that our audience has benefited greatly from it. And I love the parting words. Be confident. See this as a journey. Enjoy the journey. Be focused and network. Keep building yourself. Keep building your skills. And you have a lot of resources, and you have people like our panelists who are eagerly waiting to assist you in whatever way they could. So again, our topic was career in tech. And we have 3 professional immigrants share their experiences and top tips about how to position yourself for tech jobs and career in Canada. And we hope that you found the session useful. Last but not least, I'd like to remind you that you can watch Café New Canadians on Omni TV, and you can also catch past episodes on our YouTube channel. channel. You can also subscribe to the newsletter at Café New Canadian TV website to get trusted information and resources on immigration, settlements, education, employment, and small businesses. We look forward to seeing you at our next episode. Please watch out for information on that. Once again, thank you so much for our panelists for sharing such insightful information. I hope you all have a good evening, and probably we'll have you back sometime in the future to share more insights with our audience. Thank you and have a nice evening.